When she asked us to bring our portfolios, I brought all my 4 portfolios, one for clothing, one for crochet jewelry, one for rustic furniture, and one for the home decor stuff that I had done. And when she saw the jewelry, she was immediately like, "This is amazing. You could think of a way of doing it, a sustainable way of doing it because."
Today Africa Podcast is a podcast series where we interview African entrepreneurs and professionals and share the stories behind their businesses. In each interview, we ask how they got started, how they grew, and how they run their business today. The stories are inspiring and also provide specific advice and insight into starting a business. By sharing these stories, we want to help others get started.
My name is Sylvia Omina, and I'm the founder and creative director of Omina Otsieno, which is a brand that caters to conscious fashion lovers uh, by offering jewelry, eco-friendly jewelry made from banana fiber. And while we are doing this, we are protecting the environment, preserving culture, and creating employment for the marginalized communities. We protect the environment in the sense that our main material is banana fiber, which is biodegradable, um, and we try to preserve our culture by using it as the inspiration behind our jewelry. The weaves and the twists are inspired by the traditional craftsmanship of the Marachi people. Um, I am a Marachi, so they hail from the western part of Kenya, which is called Busia. And there we create employment for women who work very hard but don't earn enough. And so this we empower them economically by training them how to weave the jewelry, and they earn from it. So I started doing this because of the same reasons. Like, women in my rural area work very hard, but they don't earn that much to sustain them. So I thought, why not? And it's something I had wanted to do for a very long time. So when this opportunity came for me to work with them, I was happy because now I had achieved one of my dreams. The fashion industry is the second most polluting in the world. So as a fashion designer, I think that it's my responsibility to work towards saving our planet. So that's why I had to sit down and think of a better way of producing fashion, and that's how I came up with the idea of banana fiber. I think how I can answer that question is that being a sustainable brand is expensive, but I was lucky to have my mom's farm. My first collection came from harvesting of stems from my mother's farm. So it was a bit easy for me at first because of that. Otherwise, the stems we source them from farmers who we purchase from, because they use that as feeds for their livestock. So to substitute, you have to pay them at least so that they find a substitute. My brand's name, I wanted an African name for my brand. And then as I was in the process of, suggesting names and picking names, I lost my dad in the process. So I was like, what would be the best way to remember my father? Because he's one of the people who supported me with my idea. So what would be the best way to remember
Okay.
him? And I said, okay, I wanted an African name. My name Omina is already African, and my dad's name is also African. Um, I was named after my great great grandmother, and then my dad's
Okay.
name Otsieno, like, it means in the evening or at night. So I was like, already I have, my name which is African and my dad's name which is African, and I've lost him. So this will be a way to remember him. Every time someone calls Omina Otieno, I remember, my dad. So that's how I decided
Okay.
to to that name. So I grew up between the city, the village, and sometimes abroad. But I always used to find it best, still do, in the village, because the environment there is very child friendly. I could do like anything I wanted. There was everything available as a child for me to practice my skills. I'll be around my grandparents who are basket weavers, and they used to twist ropes. We are around them, and this I picked this up without realizing that years later I was going to work on. And my mom was also, a crocheteer. She crochet a lot, so I learned from her. These skills, I picked them up without realizing that I'll be building a brand. So, and every time in the city, between the city and the village, you see, and those experiences influenced me. The modern part, there's that modern part of the jewelry, and there's that, traditional part of the jewelry. What made me transition from clothing to banana fiber jewelry is because, I wanted to put a halt to clothing again for the same reason I've told you. The fashion industry is the second most polluting in the world. So I needed to pause on clothing so that I find a more sustainable way of producing clothing. So it's just on hold, not that I have completely dropped it, but it was easier for
Okay.
me to transition to jewelry because I had already found a material that I can use to produce jewelry sustainably. And of course, the challenges are, usually the funding. It's not easy. Like I said, uh, being a sustainable business is not easy because it takes a lot of work. Um, it takes a lot of money, to be able to produce. I was supposed to release a new collection in December, but because of those hassles, up to
Okay.
now I'm still working on the collection because you get little money, you put it somewhere, to continue with your process, which has taken longer than I thought.
Okay.
So cash funding is the biggest problem I have.
Okay.
Um, so our customers love our product because of the three values it carries with it. That's the
Okay.
environment and the culture and the employment of marginalized communities. So um, because this speaks to them. It's a product that is, first of all, protecting the environment, it's preserving culture, and it's also creating employment. So that way we've been able to, attract and retain customers. I use all my social media platforms, but the ones I use the most is Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. So I train these women and then employ them. So even during the training, you have to, like if they're launching a new product, I will always go down there, train them how it's done, and then from there, so I give them work, and that's how they survive. So in 2019, I was part of a fashion incubation program.
Okay.
And during this program, one day, one of our mentors asked us to bring our portfolios of the work we've done.
Okay.
So me being I was doing clothing, but I could also do other things, like I was doing jewelry from crochet, like you crochet the jewelry. I was designing furniture, rustic furniture then. I was doing a lot of things, making home decor stuff. So when she asked us to bring our portfolios, I brought all my 4 portfolios. One for clothing, one for crochet jewelry, one for rustic furniture, and one for the home decor stuff that I had done. And when she saw the jewelry, she was immediately like, this is amazing. You could think of a way of doing it, a sustainable way of doing it, because, the fashion industry, again, like I said, it's the second most polluting. So, and, we explored ideas, and that's how the banana fiber idea came about, because it's readily available, like things just aligned. The way sometimes you wish to do something, but, they still know where out. So the moment I thought of banana fiber, like everything aligned, because first I had wanted to work with women in my rural home. So here is an opportunity. Banana fiber banana, plant is available in my rural home. Like in every 10 homes, there's at least 9 banana plants.
Wow.
So, like everything aligned the way I wanted. And then I remember at the end of that program, we had an exhibition. So I did my first capsule collection, and it consisted of just 3 pieces of neck pieces. I look at them, I go back to those pictures and look at them, and I'm like, this is where I've come from. Like, I have really grown. At that time, I wasn't even using this brass part. And then when this is a completely new product, I believe, in the market. So it was hard for me to sell in the beginning, because I invested in the bigger products, the necklaces alone, without considering, the prices, and because the bigger products take longer to produce, so that means they cost more. So along the line, I learned that, and then the brass idea came about, and then now I had to start thinking of smaller products that can also move fast, and that's how I came up with the rings, the earrings, and the bangles. So that way, you're not losing out. you have clients who come for the expensive products, but also, have those fast moving products for just to grow your business. First of all, it's already like an environmentally friendly product. So even the way we produce it, we don't use chemicals. We don't use
Okay.
chemicals to, to preserve it. We use very environmentally friendly. Our is very environmentally friendly process. So we'll harvest the stem and then strip off, make small strips from the stem, and then extract the fiber and dry it in the sun. My brand is contributing to sustainable development, and inspiring women in Africa, especially, to do the same, because we have come out and strong in this cause to save our planet. The traditional craftsmanship is something that has existed not only in Kenya but across Africa. So
Okay.
it's one way of being our preserved, like we used to live in a very sustainable way as Africans. So this is
Okay.
also another way of igniting that kind of life that we once lived, because this is the moment when it's needed because of our planet. My brand stays ahead because of we are always inventing. First of all, our processes, we make sure that they are, the whole process, we make sure that it's environmentally friendly and sustainable. So we stay ahead of the game by, remaining to be always a sustainable brand, and minding our processes, how we produce our product. We are currently working to, incorporate organic dyes. So that's also one of the things that has made us lag behind in producing this new collection. And yes,
Okay.
so we stay ahead by always being inventive, always innovating, and always looking into carefully of our processes. So usually, sometimes it's difficult to build processes, systems that work well. So my strategy was, most of the time it's because sometimes you find people are overwhelmed, especially with the artisans that I work with in Nairobi. Sometimes they have work from other people. So
Okay.
for me to solve those kinds of problems, I decided I will train women you know, who are working very hard back in the village, and then, employ them. That way, to reduce that, so that I don't have to depend entirely on someone who also has work from other people.
Okay.
It can bring some clashes sometimes. So for me, I decided to go that way so that it's a smooth running for me. Yeah, as I've already told you, I do that through training them, and then once
Okay.
they are good to go, I employ them. That way, they have some extra cash besides their daily hustles. Um, we look to become one of the best sustainable fashion brands that uh, you know has a focus on environment, culture, and people,
Okay.
uh, both in Africa and the world. Any inspiring young person out there, I would advise them to start small as
Okay.
they make little progress as they go. Because sometimes, like, we wait, we sit on our ideas because we want more money to get started, but it never comes that easy. So just start small in the smallest way that you can, and then slowly by slowly you'll make progress.
Today Africa Podcast is a podcast series where we interview African entrepreneurs and professionals and share the stories behind their businesses. In each interview, we ask how they got started, how they grew, and how they run their business today. The stories are inspiring and also provide specific advice and insight into starting a business. By sharing these stories, we want to help others get started.